Summon forth your intellectual faculties, denizens of the digital amphitheater, as we delve into the arcane and labyrinthine narrative surrounding Hasanabi's reaction to the incendiary lawsuit brought forth by the erstwhile Destiny orbiter known as Pixie.
Yesterday, remember? 2 women have come forward. Yeah, one of them was his ex-wife. I know. It's not even a who cares situation. You'll most likely see more people talking about it because it seems like there's litigation involved as well. Destiny Stephen Kenneth Bonnell II is accused of illegally sharing revenge porn and is being sued by one of his victims. Yeah. I didn't understand it at the time when like everyone was talking about how like whether he sucked Nicholas Fuentes or not. But like what I was always shocked by is the fact that he had sent someone that he was trying to have sex with, a 19-year-old, numerous videos of him having sex with other people. And only after I saw Melina, his ex-wife, talk about how he did not give Destiny consent to share the footage of them having sex with other people, did I realize that this was actually a lot worse than the speculation of whether or not he had sucked it or not, and that he was inappropriately sharing material that he had filmed with other people, with random people, which is illegal. Like, literally. You seem to have more knowledge regarding Twitter streamer Dahmer than the U.S. government. If you think I have more knowledgeable over this dumb shit than the U.S. government, you have not been paying attention. He said valid. At least he recognizes it. How is this guy allowed to walk the streets? Because bad people do not get punished, especially if they're shameless. There it is. That's the response. Okay? I mean, look around. Donald Trump is president right now. How do you think that happened? That's it. Especially if you develop a community, of like rabid sycophants who are not there for any sort of like political movement or anything like that, and simply just revolve around your day-to-day existence and will fight for your battles without even thinking about their own, without thinking about, you know, what these actions look like, or if they're good or bad. And especially if you have a relatively decent and sophisticated media operation where you constantly are pumping videos of you dunking on literally the dumbest PUA guys on the planet, you can kind of get away with that for a very long time, as he has, especially when your core base of support that are knowledgeable on all of the ridiculous and awful and cruel shit you do don't actually care because they like the chaos. That's it.
This legal maelstrom, suffused with allegations of inappropriate content sharing and consent violations, ensnares Destiny, formerly known as Stephen Kenneth Bonnell II, in a web of juridical and ethical contention. Through Hasanabi's analytical lens, we shall navigate the complexities of digital morality, community dynamics, and the far-reaching consequences of this controversy. The litigation emanating from Pixie's camp, accusing Destiny of sharing private content without permission, serves as the fulcrum upon which this entire discourse pivots. The allegations, rooted in the unauthorized sharing of personal material, evoke a storm of ethical and legal ramifications. Hasanabi, ever the commentator on the moral vicissitudes of the digital age, reacts with a blend of incredulity and condemnation, dissecting the layers of misconduct that underpin the lawsuit. His legal confrontation thrusts Destiny into a realm of heightened scrutiny, not merely as a content creator but as a figure emblematic of the power imbalances inherent in parasocial relationships. The allegations resonate within a broader discourse on consent, autonomy, and the exploitation of digital intimacy. Hasanabi's reaction, steeped in a moral framework, interrogates the ethical implications of Destiny's alleged actions. He highlights the gravity of the accusations, framing them not merely as a breach of trust between individuals but as an affront to the principles of consent and respect that undergird any form of personal engagement. Through his rhetorical arsenal, Hasanabi paints a portrait of a digital landscape fraught with predatory dynamics, where the boundaries of consent are often blurred or outright disregarded. Central to Hasanabi's critique is the notion that the dissemination of personal content without consent constitutes a violation of both legal statutes and ethical norms. This act, he posits, is emblematic of a deeper moral corrosion, wherein personal gratification or vindictiveness supersedes the autonomy and dignity of others. Hasanabi's dissection of the allegations underscores the broader societal implications of such actions, framing them within a continuum of harmful behaviors and the commodification of private moments. A pivotal aspect of Hasanabi's analysis is his examination of the community dynamics that have enabled Destiny's behavior to persist unchecked. He critiques the echo chambers that often form around prominent digital personalities, wherein followers become complicit in the normalization or minimization of unethical conduct. Hasanabi's disquisition on these dynamics reveals a pattern of sycophantic behavior, where the allegiance to a figure supersedes critical engagement with their actions. Hasanabi asserts that Destiny's community, characterized by a fervent base of supporters, has contributed to a culture of impunity, wherein the content creator's actions are shielded from meaningful accountability. This observation extends beyond the specifics of the lawsuit, serving as a critique of the broader ecosystem of digital influence, where the adulation of personalities often eclipses the ethical considerations of their conduct. Within this discourse, Hasanabi also addresses the implications of digital surveillance and the spectacle that accompanies public allegations of misconduct. He posits that the digital age, with its relentless documentation and dissemination of personal interactions, has created a panopticon-like environment where every action is subject to public scrutiny. The lawsuit against Destiny, thus, becomes a focal point in a larger conversation about privacy, exposure, and the consequences of living in an age of pervasive digital visibility. This panopticon effect, Hasanabi suggests, exacerbates the power imbalances between content creators and their audiences, as the control over one's narrative becomes a battleground in the court of public opinion. The legal and ethical questions raised by the lawsuit are thus intertwined with the dynamics of digital spectacle, where the lines between private indiscretions and public accountability are increasingly blurred. Hasanabi also channels the voices of disillusioned viewers who have watched these events unfold with a sense of betrayal and disappointment. Many longtime supporters of Destiny express frustration, feeling that the creator they once admired has crossed lines that are difficult to reconcile. The perceived abuse of trust has led to an erosion of the community's cohesion, as factions emerge, debating the severity of the allegations and the implications for Destiny's legacy. This fracture within the viewer base highlights the precarious nature of parasocial relationships, where the idealization of a content creator can lead to profound disillusionment when their actions fall short of the community's moral expectations. Hasanabi's reflections capture the emotional turmoil of viewers who now question their allegiance and the ethics of continuing to support someone embroiled in such serious accusations. Beyond the immediate ramifications within his community, the lawsuit threatens to curtail Destiny's broader influence, particularly within the Democratic National Committee, DNC, where he has been an outspoken advocate for progressive policies. Hasanabi speculates that the fallout from these allegations could lead to a significant diminishment of Destiny's credibility and clout within political circles, as figures in the DNC distance themselves from the controversy. The intersection of personal misconduct and political activism poses a unique challenge for Destiny's continued engagement in political discourse. His advocacy efforts, which once garnered attention and respect, may now be overshadowed by the scandal, complicating his ability to influence policy discussions and mobilize his audience in support of political causes. In his analysis, Hasanabi contemplates the legal precedents that this lawsuit might establish, particularly in the realm of digital consent and the sharing of personal content. He speculates on the potential ramifications for content creators and digital influencers, whose actions within the private sphere often spill into the public domain, with consequences that extend beyond personal reputations to the structural norms of online interaction. Hasanabi's reflections underscore the need for a robust legal framework that addresses the complexities of digital intimacy, advocating for clearer guidelines and stricter enforcement to prevent the exploitation of vulnerable individuals. Another dimension of Hasanabi's critique is his exploration of the role of media manipulation and narrative control in shaping public perception of the lawsuit. Hasanabi's analysis delves into the tactics employed to shift the focus from the allegations to broader conspiratorial or defensive rhetoric, a strategy that seeks to rally the community around a besieged identity. This manipulation of narrative. Finally, Hasanabi situates the lawsuit within a broader cultural context, reflecting on the societal impact of such high-profile allegations of digital misconduct. He posits that the case serves as a microcosm of the challenges inherent in navigating consent and autonomy in the digital age.